hind end, feeling each hind leg engage, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. And now you at least have a track up and you're beginning to get, I mean, maybe a millimetre of an overtrack, but it's quite good. Make sure that as you send them forward, maintaining a rhythm, and make sure you're closing your leg. I think you are. Make sure you're closing your leg in time with the engagement of him.
I can feel this hip coming forward with this leg, so that's when I'm trying to give the leg aid.
That's fantastic. And Nicole, what you feel on him might be totally different to what I feel on him. What you feel on him when you're schooling him might be difficult, might be different to what you feel if you ever school Sydney's horse or pony. You know, it's very much an individual thing. It depends a lot on both horse and rider conformation and movement. But that's really great that you've identified something that works. And that is definitely a better walk. Do you feel a better level of engagement from behind?
Yes.
And of course with him, because of his build and because he is a stallion with other things on his mind, sometimes very important that as you keep asking for more and more engagement, you maintain a rhythm, because also his walk could become a little hurried, short and choppy and hurried. So very good right there. That's the best walk we've seen so far. Now let's do an exercise within the walk, and notice I haven't even said put them more on the aids or any such thing, because I feel as we add the right ingredients, all of that will come. So now let's go back to doing some exercises, the one we were beginning to do, a mild amount of counterflexion. Just give him a job to do. Let's supple him up in his neck and his jaw area. And always when you're doing this, only enough counterflexion so that he can hold it. You know, some people will over counterflex them, and if you feel the quarters moving in, that's a sure sign that you've over counterflexed. Yep, there you go. Yep, yep, yep. And now back to normal bend. And maybe a slight exaggerated inside bend. So now to left bend. We're just sort of limbering him up in his shoulders. And these types of horses, you know, the muscle fibers aren't naturally as supple, you know, as the thoroughbred Arabian and those types. And now back to counter bend. So about half the circle in counter bend, and about half the circle in normal bend. And as a rider, I think you're okay, but as a rider, make sure that you are keeping equal weight on both seat bones. I know when I do this exercise, it's very tempting to drop a hip or a seat bone towards the bend. And to help you with that while you keep doing the counterflexion exercise, one of the things that I use more and more in my teaching, Nicole, is to sort of act like you're constantly riding towards a mirror.
Okay.
And you're wearing a stripy shirt, one like Sydney. I think she has a shirt on with stripes like this. And act like you're riding towards a mirror wearing a stripy shirt, and you want those stripes to be level.
Okay.
You know, I have a little mirror at my farm. At some of the big fancy farms, they have these gorgeous mirrors. I mean, it's really nice, but you can still visualize it, and that's better. So already you're actually, that's much better with your position, even better than it was. Good. And I like how you're able to hold a very correct position without being stiff. And keep doing the counterflexion exercise, but now what we're going to do is make the change a little quicker, as in do about a quarter of the circle in counterflexion and a quarter of the circle with inside flexion. And good boy. And eventually you should get to where all you have to do, and I don't know, because, you know, you already told me turning, you know, this 2,000 pounds is a bit of a piece of work, and I'm sure it is, and you're a little girl. So it should eventually be as subtle as just a little squeeze with your ring finger. And, you know, that I would make that a goal. Now, if, you know, I would start by asking with the little ring finger. If it doesn't happen, you know, then all the fingers. And then if it doesn't happen, the next action is a kind of a twist like this with the wrist. So the first rein aid should be your ring finger. Your next rein aid, all your fingers. If that doesn't work, a little squeeze of the wrist. And worst case scenario, an open rein aid. Okay. Just to say, hello, Buster, you know. Bend right means bend right. And then when you can, ideally just a little left flexion by using the left ring. Good boy. And as you do all of this,
good job, Susie.
Good. He's getting it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't bulge out. He Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we got that beautifully, and then he started to do, well, let me offer you sort of a pseudo leg heel, Mom.
He's an overachiever.
And then be very good about keeping your left thumb on top of the rein, ideally, as you do all of this, ideally. Uh-huh, uh-huh. And now just stick with left bend, and when you get up there to its ear B, and walk about a 10-meter circle, and just see if you can explain to him a little bit more the idea of bending around your inside leg. Yep, lift your eye. And let's repeat the 10-meter circle. We're not going to make anybody dizzy. And then as you do the 10-meter circle, think a little bit about like you have hip eyes and chest eyes. And that's turning him. I mean, I know you're not going to just turn him by thinking turn left. And even do the 10-meter circle a third time, keeping the inside leg at the girth with the inside hind leg activity, and act like you have hip eyes and chest eyes that are turning him left.
Left is his harder side. He's stiffer.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is, when you get back to ego large, and in your corner between K and A, just a half 10-meter circle, and incline back to the track, because when we were doing the 10